Hello, I'm Cindy with Wisconsin Voices for Recovery, and this is Speak Out on Stigma. Today we'll be hearing from Thea. Hi, Thea, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So tell me, how does stigma harm people seeking or in recovery?
I think the number one issue with stigma is it keeps people stuck. And when people feel labeled as a problem, it's hard for them to reach out for help. Um, Too many people might look at the consequences of someone's behavior and are judgmental about the problem and think, oh, they're selfish and they have no self control. But no one chooses to become addicted to something or dependent. You have to look at the bigger question of why is this happening to this person? And people just need more education on addiction and substance use disorder, um, instead of just looking at the behavior and the harm cost. Look at the why. And when you learn about what's happening in the brain of someone with a substance use disorder, it opens the door to understanding and compassion. Um, People who are struggling are in survival mode. Um, and so to recover from a substance use disorder, these people need to rewire their brains. And it's just a very important fact that they need to go through that process to rewire their brain and reorient to living without that substance.
Well said. Well said. So it's a healing process, a transition, and what I heard is stigma is identifying as people as a problem instead of as a human who needs support and healing and compassion. Is that a correct understanding of your words?
Exactly, exactly. It's easy to put people because of their behaviors and the choices they made. It's easy to put them in a box and consider them a certain way instead of looking at the reason of how they became that way, and looking for ways to help them come out of that process and lead a life that isn't dependent and it isn't necessary for them to survive by having that substance in it. And it's all part of it, but there's a lack of understanding.
So education and understanding sounds like are pretty important. And what can be done to address stigma in the community, systemically, and within the structures that people with substance use disorders encounter?
That's a very big question that involves, but I think of a lot of it comes right back to education again. Um, Maya Angelou has a quote that I really embrace, and she said, do the best that you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. And substance use disorder and addiction are not a quick fix, one and done um, thing that can be taken care of. When someone is struggling, it's a biopsychosocial condition. So, biologically, physically, you have factors that have to be dealt with. Um, Psychologically, and their behavior, there are things that need to be taken care of. And socially, in their environment, there are many things that have to change. So, systemically, you need something that embraces all three of those things in order to have success for that. Um, Systems need to be arranged for wraparound care for someone who is struggling. Um, there needs to be better education of the general public, and even the medical field needs to be educated on some of this stuff. they didn't get, because there's so much research that has come out about it, explaining it. And a lot of that, a lot of people, even in the field, don't know all this stuff that is coming. It's all on, brand new and on the horizon. So another really big factor, I believe, in fighting stigma is that people in recovery who are willing to talk about it should step up and talk about it, because recovered people um, are the ones who've walked this path, and they can show what's possible to move on and move on to a new way and not be dependent on something anymore, and lead a wonderful, fulfilling life again, a better life than they ever could have imagined. Uh, and so by doing that, by stepping up and admitting it, um, they're willing to show the possibilities, because people need hope that things can get better. Um, Stigma exists essentially because issues aren't talked about. And once you bring it into the light, then it has to be addressed. And once it's brought into the light, so I feel for me personally that my true freedom came when I did bring it into light and I did start talking about it. And I feel pretty strongly about when people are ready and able to, that they should be able to share it. And that is a big way to change people's minds, is to show that these people aren't disposable. They can go on and lead really good lives after they had the support that they needed to deal with their illness.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I also had a thought about is, their lived experience, right? And in sharing that lived experience, that could also potentially support changes and things that can be done to address stigma systemically as well, because you're having people using their personal lived experience to highlight changes that are needed.
Yes, I definitely feel that the people who've walked it can really speak to it the best, because they can see the positive things and the deficits in their healing process, and what really helped them, and what they feel that this could use a little work. Maybe this area needs to be considered more, to consider what people really need, because it would be nice if a lot of these issues could be solved simply and just take a pill and you're better. It doesn't work like that. And there's a lot of back and forth. And that's part of the process too, is that most mass majority of people don't decide to quit using drugs or quit drinking alcohol and just stop, and it just happens overnight. It is a long-term process that happens for someone, and they need support and encouragement throughout that process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is possible for it to happen. And that's the main thing I want to talk about, is that it can be done. It can be done. Um, it's like any illness. A lot of illnesses are chronic, and that's what this is. It's a chronic condition. And I realize I'll have it the rest of my life, but I can manage it, and I can live a happy, healthy life with it if I'm in managing it the way I need to.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's all. I just would encourage people to come forth, because you don't know who you could help by your transparency. People with who struggle with this disorder feel othered and think that nobody else could possibly understand what they're going through until they're take the risk of raising their hand and saying, yeah, I have that too. I go through that too. And then when they do are able to come forth, amazing healing can happen because they realize that they're not in this by themselves, that there is a lot of help out there available for you. You just have to grab that rope that's been tossed to you and grab on, because you can really lead a great, wonderful, fulfilling life when you let go of the things that are holding you back.
All right, thank you so much, Thea, for sharing your views on stigma. And thank you to our viewers for watching. Speak Out on Stigma is a forum to raise awareness about the harmful impact of stigma on those in and seeking recovery. Recovery is for everyone. Together, we can eliminate stigma. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Thank you and have a great day.